Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where I've done a fair amount of experimentation here on why this smelter isn't smelting. I don't have a solid answer as of this time. However, I do want to try to address the productivity issue. We have no productivity in there right now, and I suspect that the issue there is that we don't have enough Kerbals. So let's get Billy Bobcat out here. He is an engineer. I don't know how much stupidity he has. Apparently that matters from what I was reading. So that might be a thing. The level of the Kerbal matters as well. Billy Bobcat doesn't have any levels of experience. So that might be an issue for us eventually. But let's go ahead and board, and let's see if that changes our productivity at all. So we've now got Dunvan and Billy Bobcat in here. Okay, that is noted. Now, I don't know what the stupidity level of the others is. I don't think we can actually see that from here. So we can get Tennant and Notagun out into here as well, and we'll see if just fully staffing that changes anything. So let's just bring, this is Tennant. Let's bring Tennant right on over. There we go, and we'll board. So no productivity increase yet, but this might have to do with the fact that these are fairly low level, and it also might have something to do with their stupidity level. So that is absolutely noted. So back over here, I want to have Notagun EVA. Notagun is currently in here, as is Papus. So let's move both of them up to the re-entry module. There we go. And now Notagun should be able to EVA. Perfect. So we'll just sail right on over here. And in we go. Okay, so we've now got 4 Kerbals in here. Productivity is still nil. Wait. Productivity is 0.08. Vessel productivity is 0. This might just be a rounding. So that's definitely interesting. And they should be fine as far as life support goes. We should be able to produce additional life support with no real problem there. So now the question becomes, with that tiny, tiny bit of productivity, what do we got going on here? Anything at all? I don't believe so, no. Okay. So, I still haven't solved this issue. And to be clear, I don't think that that should have anything to do with it, to be honest. Because we know that the separate module, if we go back to the Space Center, the separate module that we tested yesterday, or I guess I should say in the last episode, because you might be watching this like back to back. The module that we tested in the last episode works just fine without any crew. So that's a thing. If we hop into the VAB and we load up that vehicle design, it worked in atmosphere, it worked in vacuum, it worked on the surface, I believe. Did we test it on the surface of the moon? I'm not sure that we did. We tested it in orbit. I don't think we tested it on the surface. So, for now, let's just do this, and then if we can't figure it out for the moment, we'll just send a rocket over with some new parts that we know for a fact that we're going to need. So that'll be fine, and then the question, of course, becomes, what do we see here? So, see, this, it's got efficiency. It's making metal. If we go into here, we can see that the metal has a minus sign here. That means that it is increasing the amount of metal. So if we were to warp forward here, you can see, there we go. It's making metal. Now, we're not seeing that with our craft on the moon. And the question is why? We have some attachments to it, for sure. But let's just pop open the sheet menu for now, and let's set our position on the moon. I don't care where on the moon. This is fine. And we'll ease to ground. Go on. There you go. So we'll ease this to the ground, and hopefully it won't explode on us. We don't care about the orientation. this is fine. So we're just going to head right on down. There we go. So now we're on the surface of the moon, and we're going to start this metal conversion, and look at that. It's got efficiency. Okay. So that's weird, right? Let's go ahead and head over here. So this is 7 by 155 by minus 155. Like this, right? Or actually, no, that's positive 155. So let's set that position over here. That should be quite close. I thought that was negative 155. Hang on. Let's try negative 155. Where did that put us? I'm not sure where we are right now. Actually, we're right here. So that's quite close. Okay, middle mouse click to set position. That seems good. And where are we right now? Game is frozen at this moment. There we go. Okay, so we need to figure out where we are in relation to our base. And yes, we're rolling right now. Hang on, I saw it. It's right up over here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to just use middle mouse click to set the position, and that position is going to be up over here. This isn't as close as I'd hoped. There we go. So we're now very, very close here. Excellent. We can get even a little closer. There we go. So what I want to do now is I want to run a little bit of testing here. And again, we're probably going to revert this. So here we are at the same position, roughly. And it works. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over to the Stampatron ground anchor. We're going to have Dunvin EVA here. And Dunvin is going to go and disassemble this, and we're going to attach it to this craft and see if it still works. We're in full-on troubleshooting mode here at this point. So we're going to detach this battery. Okay, that's the Protobenign Octo 2. Next up, the battery. And now we need... okay. So we're just going to detach this, like so. Okay, so this is now 6.627 tons. Okay. So we need more Kerbals to be able to move that. I'm just wondering... Was this that heavy to move? 12.46 tons? Yeah, that seems about right. Okay, so that's noted. So this smelter is currently detached, right? But it is too heavy. Now, is it actually detached? Yeah, it is. Okay, so both of those are currently root parts. That might have something to do with this. But we're going to need to get more Kerbals out over here if we want to move this. So that's going to be a little bit obnoxious. Okay, Billy Bobcat, come on out here. Yeah, we're going to need you out over here, Billy Bobcat. I don't know how many Kerbals we're going to need to move this, but let's see. That is 2 tons. So 6.627 tons, huh? You know, it's probably because of the ore in it, if I had to guess. Now, again, we're going to revert this, but we know for a fact, and if we start this... Yeah, this isn't actually doing anything at this point, and the reason it's not... I don't think it's doing anything anyway. Yeah, missing liquid fuel, because it's not technically connected. So it's got this metal ore here. And this is where that weight is coming from. This we brought in empty. So that's the difference there. We don't actually have enough Kerbals here to be able to move this. But we have at least verified that the positioning doesn't have anything to do with it. So let's go ahead and revert this back to the vehicle assembly. So we've verified that for a fact. Well, I don't know. Maybe we have to tear it down and try to, like, reattach it and stuff. We know that the fuel is being consumed. It's just at 0 efficiency, and I don't know why. It might have something to do with part attachments. Actually, I want to find that out. Let's go ahead and find that out right now. So let's go back to the Stampatron ground anchor. And let's remove anything that's not attached to one of its attachment points. Any radial attachments. Let's get those off of there. We can get other auger positions, or we can attach and detach the auger until we get another position to put it if necessary. So that would be fine if that's what ends up being necessary there. Hopefully that's not necessary, but also kind of hopefully that is the problem, because honestly, I can't think of what else might be the problem. So there's that. If removing these radial attachments doesn't work, then I don't know what the issue would be. So we're going to have Dunvin once again EVA. And we're just going to hop on over to here. And we're going to remove all of these radial attachments. So that, whoa, that was weird. So that includes these radial attachment tanks, and we're going to do those first because we're going to need to be up in here. There we go. We'll just do this, and I'd like to just drop these, so that'll be fine. They'll be okay over here in theory, assuming they're not clipping together when I drop them. And we'll just drop this one over here, and drop this one over here. Okay. Now, other radial attachments include these augers, which we'll just go ahead and turn off before we do anything here. I did test it with the augers off, by the way. That did not make a difference. Okay. So we'll then just go ahead and place these augers out over here. We're just detaching them. Okay, that's a little awkward. Oh. Well, okay then. We can always revert this if we need to, so I'm not that concerned about it. Okay, so that's all of the radial detachments removed. And yeah, this one's rolling away. But again, we can revert this if we need to. It's fine. We're in full-on troubleshooting mode. So let's just... Dunman, you were supposed to grab that. There you go. Now we'll hop in, and let's see if this works now. Nope. Okay, so that's very awkward. Maybe it has to do with the milling lathe. Maybe it has to do with the convertatron being up top. I don't know. That's certainly interesting. It might have something to do... We may have attached the convertatron with Kerbal construction. If that's the case, then that might be the issue. So let's just go ahead and head up here and see if we can't remove that convertatron. We might need additional Kerbals to lift it. 1.29 tons, that's not bad. Billy Bobcat, come give us a hand. So all I'm going to do, actually, we don't even need to do that now that I think about it. Dunvan, all I want you to do is detach the convertatron. There we go. The convertatron is now detached. So that's fine. Now we're going to hop back into the Stampatron ground anchor. Not the ground anchor. This is the ground anchor 1. No, we want the ground anchor. Okay. So with this detached, no. Okay. Well then. This is Billy Bobcat here. Let's go ahead and move him on up. And just position him on top of this lathe for right now. Okay, so he's giving us a hand, and Dunvin, I want you to... That's Pabus. Hang on. Where's Dunvin at? Dunvin is definitely here somewhere. There's Dunvin. Okay, I want you to just grab this convertatron for the moment, and, well, we don't even need to move it right now. Well, we could try to reattach it. So we grab the convertatron, and we would go into attachment mode, right? I think we should probably move this out of here for now, Okay, so we'll just put it there. That kind of broke some things. Okay, I put it back there, but it's not actually attached. Okay, so if we re-grab this and put it here, it's going to do that. Yeah, that's definitely not what we wanted it to do. Okay, so it's way off over there, but honestly, I was just trying to reattach it using this system instead, so it's fine. We're going to probably revert that anyway. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to just go into the Stampatron ground anchor and see, is this working? That's a negative. Okay, so back over here, we're going to detach the lathe. Okay. Why was Billy Bobcat able to detach that? He doesn't have a tool equipped. That's a little odd. Okay, so now let's see if this is working. No. Okay. Well, we've torn this down at this point, and then let's go to Dunvin. Actually, yeah, let's go to Dunvin. The weight is going to be a concern for reattaching it, right? Because currently the weight on this is 6.63 tons. We've only got a maximum of 5 Kerbals here. So we would need 7 Kerbals to be able to lift this in this gravity. So to that end, we should probably want to get the metal ore into these metal ore containers instead. This can only hold 3.3. Okay, that's not a lot. But that's fine for now. Well, we'd want to get rid of this metal ore, right? Yeah, we just don't really have a way to do this right now if we need to reattach this at this point. So we can detach it, no problem. But if we wanted to reattach it, it's too heavy. We can't do it in Kerbal construction because this is too heavy here as well. So that's not surprising. It's going to tip over. And it's now not got a source of liquid fuel. So we can't test if it's working now. So that's a bit bothersome, isn't it? We can just reload at this point and all of that's put back, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But I don't know. I feel like at this point, we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Specifically, that being that we filled it with metal ore, and now we can't smelt that metal ore because it's broken, and we don't have anywhere to put the metal ore, right? So we could bring somewhere to put the metal ore and continue experimenting with it. That is definitely an option that we can do. So to that end, we can stop these augers for now, and then just head back to the Space Center. And I don't know, maybe we could bring a new smelter. But I don't know why it's bugged. As far as I can tell, there's no reason for it to be bugged. It should be okay. We're just getting 0 efficiency off of it no matter what we do. I also tried detaching the workshop and having it be just kind of its own thing. And that didn't work either. It was still at 0 efficiency. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with that smelter. We may need to bring a new smelter up. Hopefully not, but we may need to. So for now, let's go ahead and open up this guy. So we want to bring this for sure. This is going to be our drill components, which are needed. This is going to be the thermal control system, which is needed, and a few extra batteries, which should be useful as well. So that's fine, but I'm also thinking we may want to slap in another smelter here. So we can do this that is a different type of smelter. Like this one. Or that's a K&K recycler. It can convert vessels into scrap metal. Interesting. Okay. So, taking a look at this, this is when it's at 50% efficiency. Our core issue, of course, is that it's at 0% efficiency for literally ever. Literally ever. But if we bring up a new smelter, that's not necessarily. So we could just bring something like this. I mean, that's an option. I don't know that it's a great option, but it is certainly, of the options that we have, this is one of them. So we could bring something like this, and then on top of that, we would be able to slap on something like a Probodobodine Octo 2 is fine. We know we'd want a gyroscope on that, so we would put in a small inline reaction wheel. That seems okay. And then we'd need to deliver this thing, right? So we would need some form of lander on this. So I would probably want to bring something like this. It's going to be pretty tall, no doubt about that. So let's go ahead and put on a poodle. What's this thrust to weight over the moon? Let's see here. 29.63 over the moon. That's a lot. Okay, so that seems fine. I'm going to bring a couple more struts. I feel like we do need them. I would like to be able to make them. Why did I put it inside there? Okay. I'd like to be able to make them on the moon, but as of right now, we can bring a couple more. And I just want to widen out the landing legs here, is the idea. So that'll be fine, and then we're going to, of course, want to have a KER on this. That is absolutely something that we want to have. So we would bring in somebody like this. We'll just have one. There we go. That'll do for now. And then we'll have some landing legs on here for sure. And then we're going to need to get this thing up into orbit and to the moon, right? That's going to be interesting for sure. Ground. Here we go. So LT2 landing struts, and we'll just do something like this. Okay, so we'll start those retracted, and then we're going to put in, I'm assuming that this is 702 meters per second. This is enough DV to land on, for sure. Assuming that KER is giving us good numbers here, which it probably is. So we'll take a TD25 decoupler here, and let's get ourselves like a big orange tank here, basically. Or maybe like a 32. Yeah, something like that. And then I'm going to do another poodle here. With the idea being that this is hopefully going to get us to Kerbal, or rather get us to the moon. So that looks like a decent amount of DV there. About 2 kilometers per second. So that seems fine. The smelter is considered the root part here right now. I'm going to reroute this over to the Probodobodine Octo 2. I don't want the smelter to be the root part. Okay. So there we go. That seems fine. Let's put in another TD25 decoupler. And then I'm going to we're going to need some pretty hefty lifters here, right? So we're going to do an orange tank here and here. And then this is going to be a mainsail. And we're going to struggle to lift this as it is. So this is already going to be a bit rough here. Let's get these merged down. There we go. 1.25. Yeah. And then actually 1.25 isn't so bad. So we could probably just SRB this. Do we need 4 SRBs? Honestly, probably not, but we could go with like 4 Polluxes. That's 1.48. If we merge these together, 1.92. That's not bad, although I don't think that these are actually attached to the decouplers. There we go. And we'll just move them right on down. Move tool, please. There we go. Move tool did not want to move, but that's okay. We'll just have this be right about here, and then we'll put on a couple of roundified tanks up top. Those will get drained out very, very quickly. And it would just be something kind of like this. This is a pretty hefty thrust to weight right now. We can thrust limit these down to like 7, maybe like 80% thrust. Yeah, 80% thrust looks good. Then we can put on a couple of struts like this and like this. What? That... Oh, okay. That was weird. So at this point, I think we're basically ready to deliver this. But, yeah, that's exciting. I'm going to keep experimenting with the smelter that we've got up there. We'll try bringing another one in, and maybe this one works. Maybe the other one is bugged, and this one would be fine. I don't know. For now, it's time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to take this thing out to the moon and see if it helps. Maybe it will. That's going to be exciting. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.